mysterious blue goo, and I gotta have more bagpipes. What a weird week.
Hi, everybody, it's Weird.
This is like crazy being here.
Weird.
Really weird tales.
Bigfoot eats out of my trash.
Well, I got a great show for you today with some wonderful weird stuff.
Hi friends, I'm Scott. This is What a Weird Week, where we do a countdown of the weird stories of the week. We look at all the news of the week and we pick out the fun ones and the odd stories. Top 10 countdown of those things for you, and we wrap it all up in about 15 minutes. And to get our show notes, just a reminder, they are at shownotes.page. All the stuff about our program as well, shownotes.page. This is our episode first published Friday, November 14th, 2025.
Number 10.
Number 10 is the article from Popular Science about the Fisher, who went digging worms and didn't get worms, but instead got treasure. 20,000 silver coins, rings, jewelry. They're still counting it up, I think. The article says roughly 20,000 pieces of treasure pieces. I guess I'll stop there on that. I love it when people go looking for worms and find treasure. I mean, that's one of my all-time favorites.
Number 9.
Number 9, I thought it was bonkers, and then I did some soul searching, and I realized, no, I do this. So what, am I bonkers? Heaven forbid I'm bonkers. This is about the research. It's a United States of America survey, so hello to our friends in the United States. Many Americans admitted to planning a trip and spending up to $2,000 on a vacation that is only about places to eat. You plan your vacation not for the climate or the amusement parks, whatever, the attractions. You plan your trip first and foremost as a foodcation. What are we going to eat? Let's go to the place with the good food. I've done this. I live on the east coast of Canada. We have some wonderful restaurants, a lot of seafood, but we do not have the Texas Roadhouse. So I have, in the past, driven to the state of Maine. Hello to our friends in Maine. It's a long way to go for a steak. It's a long drive, but I regret nothing. If you want to do a deep dive on this one, or maybe you're like, I need to read that because I might make some new friends in the comments. I have found my people. I also have traveled for food. We link to that survey, and you can read more if you go to the show notes or shownotes.page.
Number 8.
Number 8, the headline from Science Alert got me all jacked up, but let me just temper your expectations. The headline is Mysterious Streaks on the Slopes of Mars Might Finally Be Solved. And I love that. I love a good mystery, but I love it when they get answers. Well, this one, first of all, did you know about the mysterious streaks on Mars? I did not. Dark streaks on the mountain slopes, vertical streaks on the mountain slopes of Mars. So I'm like, okay, well, they're dark streaks. Not that exciting so far, but I like a good mystery and a good solution. So I lean into this story, right? They're still not exactly sure what causes the mysterious streaks on Mars. They did observe a dust avalanche on Mars, and then some streaks were left behind after the dust avalanche. Let me just say this. The term dust avalanche is probably the best thing out of the story, in my humble opinion, non-scientific, dumb guy opinion. I had never heard the term dust avalanche before, and I like it. And I believe I caused one or two looking for my old Sony Walkman in my bedroom closet. Dust avalanche. Hey, what? Dust avalanche joke. Anyway, what causes the mysterious streaks? They're still not exactly sure. Dust avalanche. Some researchers say, no, meteorite impact. And then some others are like, no, it's water thawing, sand, displacement of sand. So I find the headline a bit deceptive. First, it's not that great of a mystery. Second, I don't know if they've solved it yet or not. But I'm leaving it in because dust avalanche. You win, dust avalanche.
Number 7.
Number 7, one of the greatest headlines you're going to hear this week. And I'm not just talking about on this program. I'm talking about anywhere. Scientists discover mysterious signs of life in bizarre blue volcanic goo. That's the headline from Science Alert. And this is about some stuff that was brought up from the ocean, from mud volcanoes. So this was collected from mud volcanoes near the Mariana Trench, deep in the ocean. And I will say this, I'm not a scientist and I'm not very smart. I'm not even just as a normal person, very smart. I'm not the sharpest knife in the pencil case. But it would seem to me that scientists are always surprised by what they find deep in the ocean near the Mariana Trench. It's always like too dark, nothing could survive. The pH level is out of whack. Nothing could survive. You know what I mean? They're always surprised. And this is another case where they got this sample. There's blue volcanic goo, and they have found unexpected biosignatures within the goo. The article does have a pretty fantastic core sample image, and there is definitely blue goo going on. We're talking about microbial life, so they haven't found Bigfoot in the Mariana Trench, but it is interesting, and if you want to see the photo or read more, do a deep dive on this one. Deep dive. Oh my gosh, did I just do that? I am so sorry. Deep dive. Anyway, we'll link to this in the show notes or go to shownotes.page.
Number 6.
Number 6 is a world record that made headlines this week. Maybe you want to beat it. Maybe this weekend you beat the thing. Maybe next week we're talking about you on the program because you are the headline. Because this one involves ice cream, and my understanding is that stuff is delicious. This is a fellow from Minnesota who was visiting Ireland, went to an ice cream shop, and unofficially now has broken the Guinness World Record for the fastest time to eat a 130-gram ice cream cone. Fellow named James, trying to beat the record of just under 25 seconds to eat an ice cream cone, and unofficially he does it, but it has to be okayed by the Guinness World Records folks. He clocked in at 24.72 seconds, new world record, if it gets this stamp of approval from the Guinness World Records. If you're going to attempt this world record, please use caution, because when you look up how to avoid brain freeze, like if you are prone to eating cold things and getting that brain freeze, which is excruciating. Ice cream is delicious, brain freeze, excruciating. The pleasure and the pain of this world record could be great. But the number one tip on how to avoid brain freeze is to eat the cold things slowly. And you cannot do that with this Guinness World Record. It's all about fast consumption. So I don't know. I can't help you there. If you have some sort of home remedy on how to avoid brain freeze, please reach out. You can get all our contact info if you go to shownotes.page.
Number 5.
While you're looking at those giant balloons at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade later this month, don't forget to look down or you'll miss history being made. Goldfish is returning to the parade for the first time in more than 10 years with the smallest float. It measures only 14 goldfish crackers long. That's tiny.
That's teeny weeny, sure is.
That report from CBS 4 Miami about the Goldfish Crackers float. The folks behind Goldfish Crackers are putting a float in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade 2025, which is the smallest float ever, bucking against the trend of giant balloons and enormous spectacles, going for a teeny tiny float, which if you don't have a chance to click, let me describe it. It's a snowscape. A teeny tiny snowscape featuring a snowman and a snow sculpture that appears to be a snow goldfish. If this catches on and you're a company who wants to be in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, but you just don't have either the amount of people needed to maintain a float or the budget for one of these enormous floats, these giant spectacles, they should have some sort of teeny tiny parade. Everybody's got a budget for a teeny tiny float, probably, right?
Number 4.
Number 4 is the prankster who brought in not art to the museum and people didn't notice because it looked like art. It was AI-generated art slapped onto a museum wall, and hundreds of people went by and thought, well, that's probably art. I don't think this is a great prank because I wouldn't know. This is an AI-generated print, right? Well, some of that AI stuff, pretty fancy. I wouldn't know. Unless it was like the Mona Lisa having a smoke. I would know that was not real. I would be 75% that's not real. But you're printing out AI-generated art. I'm in a museum where there should be art. And this one looks like a painting, a little gaffer sitting there, some sort of oil painting. So I wouldn't know. To me, that's not a great prank. You replaced some art, which I don't understand, with something else that seemed like art I didn't understand. You got me, I guess. You got me, you prankster.
Number 3.
For number 3, it's a story that made headlines here in Canada, where the movie Speed played out in real life. Canadian Speed. Are you familiar with Speed? Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock. The bus can't slow down or a bomb will go off. Well, that played out here in Canada, but for Canadian Speed, that's where you take over a bus and there's no bomb on the bus. And you don't drive fast. You just drive at a reasonable velocity. And you also pull over and make all the stops. If there are people waiting for the bus, you pull over. So you've taken the bus. You're going for a bus joyride, but you're also, picking up people waiting for the bus. That played out here in Canada, and that made headlines. Man who took Hamilton bus on joyride did a great job driving, left no dings, say police. And there's one report where somebody didn't have the right bus pass or not the correct change, something like that, and they were refused entry on the bus. No, you can't come on the bus. You can't be pulling the thing where you don't have the exact change. Interesting story. I'm going to stop there on it. But if you want to read the whole thing, click shownotes.page. Number 2, imagine doing a wheelie on your bicycle for miles and miles and miles. The headline from the Wall Street Journal, the college student who did a wheelie for 93 miles. This is a fellow named Oscar. He lifts the front tire of his bicycle and he starts an incredible journey of popping a wheelie. Epic. People say epic too much, but this was an epic Papa Wheelie. Side note, I think Papa Wheelie, is that already taken? That'd be a pretty good handle for, entertainers, or maybe my camp name. I'll just put it in the book of great ideas for now. I feel like the headline says it all, kind of, this story, but if you want to do a deep dive and learn more about Oscar and his odyssey in wheelie, you can click shownotes.page. Honorable mention. This honorable mention is about, it speaks to me, it's about how we gain weight in the wintertime. So where I'm at, we've already had snow. In colder weather, they say it's biological in this article that you crave more food when the weather turns cold. Part of it is you don't get as much sunlight, and that tends to make you crave carbs more. But cold weather equals want more food. I scrolled right down to some life hacks, some things you can try so as to not gain more weight. One of them is eat spicier food. They say that'll help. They say dark chocolate can help. If science says so, and it involves chocolate, I guess I'm going to have to try that. Using smaller plates, some of these things you've heard of before. But anyway, I'll link to all of that. Sorry if you're hearing this and where you are, you're going into summertime, because our program goes out over the internet. And perhaps where you are, you just came out of wintertime. You've got your winter bod, and now you're bracing for summertime. We're too late for this season. Sorry about that. Did you eat chocolate? Maybe you ate chocolate anyway, though. It wasn't the dark chocolate. Well, you tried. Honorable mention. The alligator captured in the Charles River, Boston, Massachusetts. If you're unfamiliar with Boston, it is not normal to have an alligator in the river in Boston. Alligator's not native to Boston, Massachusetts. Oftentimes, you get a story like this. It was a pet that somebody released. Sometimes it's a prank. In this case, there is one theory that the owner found out the alligator was a Yankees fan. Hey, Boston, Yankees fan. Anyway, it's not good for the alligator. The weather turns cold and that alligator's not going to survive in the Charles River. So it was good that this alligator was captured and will be given a nice warm home. Shout out to Joe Kenny, owner of Joe's Crazy Critters. Joe is the one who captured the alligator. Honorable mention again.
A physical education teacher in Saco just set his 3rd Guinness World Record tonight, all 3 involving basketball. Fox 23's Julia Simone takes us to the school where the students were there to root him on.
Here at Saco Middle School, physical education teacher Ryan Martin has broken the world record for most high school three-pointers in just 1 hour.
The atmosphere is incredible.
That clip from CBS 13 about the phys ed teacher in Maine who sank more than 1,500 three-pointers, shooting the old basketball for an hour, 1,500 and something three-pointers. That's a world record. I love how the community showed up to support Ryan. So much excitement, but also Ryan is kind of doing it for the school community. Just one of these feel-good stories. I love it. Number one story this week is all the bagpipers who got together to play one of the greatest bagpipe songs of all time. Please Don't At Me. There are some dandy bagpipe songs for sure, but it's a long way to the top from AC/DC. iconic bagpipe solo, and they got together 374 bagpipers to play the song at the same time. World record. This happened in Australia, the Great Melbourne. Why don't I just say Melbourne? I know I got it wrong, but the Great Melbourne Bagpipe Bash, Australia. Bagpipe enthusiasts getting together for fellowship and also setting a world record. I think I can play a bit of it without getting a copyright strike.
You want my body? You think I'm sick? Come, baby, let me know. Hang a solo. We have a paper down. I repeat, a paper is down.
Oh, wait, that's not it. You know what? I'll link to it. Click the show notes for more. So that's going to be a wrap on this week's What a Weird Week show. Thank you for checking it out. We're back next Friday with 10 more weird things from the news or odd, fun things from the news. If you want all the stuff we talked about in more detail, or if you want to learn more about our podcast, you can go to shownotes.page. Shownotes.page. We'll catch you next Friday with another rendition of What a Weird Week.
We have a paper down. I repeat, a paper is down.